Hey, AJ here, and today we are back. We're back. If this is your first video, you're like, what does that mean? I don't understand. But we have been gone for a minute, and so I was visiting some fam up in the Dakotas, actually just one of the Dakotas, and hanging out there for a few weeks, so I haven't posted a video. But now we back, we gonna make some videos, and we're gonna start with something super easy that everybody loves. Bread. Not just bread, baguettes. Not just baguettes, no knead, easy baguettes that anybody can make, including you and I. So let's get ready to make your very easy, no knead bread that's gonna be delicious. Welcome back, my name is AJ. If you're new around here, I make vegan recipes and other recipes. Bread is, naturally vegan. Sometimes they throw eggs in it like a crazy person, but always here, the recipes are gonna be vegan, delicious, easy enough for a derp to make. So if you're into that kind of content, maybe think about subscribing, maybe think about liking, and that's cool. And if not, hopefully you just enjoy this video. I just want you to enjoy the video. All right, so step one when you're making this bread. Now, I know bread is often like this intimidating thing, and truthfully, the first time I made bread was like maybe a couple months ago, because I was avoiding gluten for many, many years, and I was like, you know what, if I make it myself, it's gonna be okay. And so I made some bread and it came out like amazing the first try using this no knead recipe that I'm gonna be sharing with you here today. And it's only 4 ingredients. You don't need to like work it or let it rise a million times. It's gonna be a lot simpler and it's gonna come out amazing. So let's get into this bread. So step 1 is gonna be to make your dough. Now I'm gonna make some dough. I'm gonna make a half version, but the full version is going to be in the recipe below. And the full version makes kind of like 2 baguettes. So we're gonna get a bowl and we're gonna throw about 2.5 cups of flour in here. Now, you could do this with white flour. I do it with whole wheat because I'm kind of just reintroducing bread into my life. And I don't wanna risk it. And this also has a little bit more protein and stuff, so that's cool too. So we're gonna wanna do 2.5 cups of this stuff. And when you're doing it, make sure that you are sifting it in. What's sifting? Good question. It's when you use this bad boy to make sure it's nice and separated. I actually did notice a difference the times I've not used a sifter versus the times I have used a sifter, especially with whole wheat flour, because there's kind of more chunks in it and you don't want to accidentally blow out your bread and it come out all messed up. Okay, so we're gonna do, for this 1 loaf version, we're going to do 2.5 cups of sifted flour. All right, so we're gonna take about 2.5 cups of whole wheat flour and we're just gonna sift her in. And if you have any extra chunks or anything, you can try to press them through, or you can of course just toss them. Try not to waste though. I would press through as much as you can, toss what you need to. But you'll see, especially with this whole grain, see how there's this like extra sediment there? We wanna get rid of that. Alrighty, and from there, we're gonna wanna throw in 1/4 teaspoon of active dry yeast. Please make sure it's actually active dry yeast and not instant yeast or anything like that. And we're also gonna throw in 1 teaspoon of salt. I'm using the pink salt, but any salt works. You're gonna wanna briefly whisk this together. Do your best to not spill all over the place like me, but luckily for me, I'm working this dough in just a minute, so this will actually be helpful. So you've got this nice and mixed. You wanna make a little bit of a well in the middle. And we're gonna throw in about 9 ounces of water for this. Spatula to mix it together. I feel like the rubber spatula doesn't super overwork it. All right, and so we're just gonna slowly mix it in with the rubber spatula. And you really just wanna do this till it comes together. We're not trying to go crazy here. We're just mixing it until it mixes together. I used filtered water, but any water would work. You're gonna mix it till it just comes together. It's kind of gonna look like a plop. You want to cover it with a towel and put it in a relatively warm place. I usually put it on the stove and turn the light on. Like, it doesn't have to be rip-roaring warm. Like, you don't have to throw it in the oven, though you can do that if that feels like a safer place for you. And you can cover this with cling wrap, press and seal, saran wrap. I like using a towel because one, it's a little bit more sustainable, but two, it looks more old school and cool, makes me feel cute. So after about 12 to 24 hours, you're gonna pull out the bread and it's gonna look something like this. Whoa, it's doubled in size. This probably looks like it's 4 times bigger in size because it's a double batch. So now what we're going to do is we're going to start getting ready to bake this bread. So I'm going to get my oven to as hot as it'll go because anytime you open it, the heat escapes. So I'm setting it to 450. Actually, I'm setting it to 500. I'm going to lower it to 450 when I throw the bread in there. And for those of you who have convection ovens, don't use a convection oven for this. It'll burn the top, it'll ruin your bread. So we're gonna take this and we're gonna slowly pour it out onto a very floured workspace. So we got our whole wheat flour here. We're just gonna throw it all over the place, all over your hands. Honestly, the more the better. And another piece of advice, definitely wear black when you're messing with flour and bread. It's a very, very smart thing to do. So I'm gonna throw some flour on the actual bread. I'm gonna throw some flour here, throw some on the actual bread, and we're going to slowly get this out of here. And it's gonna deflate a little, but that's okay. We're gonna give it some more time to proof. And you can kind of see that the strands, ooh, look at those good, that's a good strand. Let me get a shot of it real quick. Look at those strands. That's the gluten, yo. That's what makes this bread good. Separate it into probably 2, maybe 3 loaves. And I'm gonna be using a pizza stone. If you have a pizza stone, definitely use it, but if you don't, that should not dissuade you from making this. You can totally make this on, and I have made it on just like a baking sheet. Just make sure your baking sheet is able to withstand super high temperatures. So with this, we're gonna break it apart. Be generous with your flour. We're not working this too much. All we're doing is shaping it and putting together any little holes that you see, any little cracks. Use a little water, bring it together, mush it together, and you want it to look nice and cute. Keep throwing flour. Flour and water, that's the name of the game today. And don't be afraid to use too much of the flour. I know it's gonna be like you're worried about the temperature or anything like that. That's not how it's gonna be. So we're gonna get this together. We're gonna make a nice little baguette. And you could use this to make like a whole loaf. You don't actually have to do baguettes. Baguettes are just the laziest option. And the whole point of this is nice lazy bread. All right, so we have 4 little baby loaves. And the only reason I made them baby is because 1, it'll cook faster. 2, my pizza stone isn't giant, you know, so I didn't want giant long baguettes. Now, could you do that? 1,000,000% you could, and that would be awesome looking. But I'm gonna do some little baby baguettes because I want this to be, if you're somebody who buys bread, maybe try making it because it's not that hard. So now I'm going to cover these with a damp towel, and we're going to let this hang out here for about 15 to 30 minutes until it doubles in size. Okay, so it's been some time, so let's see if these guys rose. Oh my goodness! I'm so shocked that they rose. Okay, so we've got some baguettes here. They're nice and bigger than they were before. Let's get a close-up. Good idea, you. All right, so now all we gotta do is score this up a little bit. So let's grab a little bread knife. And don't be afraid when you're scoring this. Now I know a lot of times people, they're afraid of cutting all the way through, but you could actually have the opposite problem. My brother-in-law did this the other day. By the way, his bread came out amazing. I'll show a picture right here. But you can see on one of them, they blew out on the side, and he was like, no, I wanted it to be picture perfect. If you don't score deep enough, I've had it happen to me as well, where it kind of blows out on the side. So don't be afraid of knives. Just don't run with them or anything like that. So we're gonna score this one 3 or 4 times right along the top. And I think even on one of these, I might throw a little everything spice and see if that works. So from here, let's move it first to the pizza stone. So I'm gonna move it to the pizza stone, and then from there, I'll brush it with a little bit of water, and I'll top one of these with some everything spice. and throw it in the oven. These will probably take about 20 minutes because they're small. Basically, you want them to sound hollow when you're knocking them. Because you knock bread, right? So when you're tapping the bread, it should sound hollow. So I'm gonna take these, throw them on the pizza stone, throw them in the oven, 450, normal oven mode, and 20 to 30 minutes, and they should be good. So I'll see you when it is time to taste test these. It'll be perfect because my wife will have just gone upstairs, and I'll drag her back down like a Cerberus, bringing her into the underworld to eat bread. Welcome back. Now we're doing a little taste. I'm talking to whoever's watching, not you.
Okay.
I know you've been here. All right. So we got some whole wheat bread that I had made here. I got some vegan butter, and I cut you up a slice and everything. What are your impressions, bread guy?
Well, let's find out.
Man, I wonder who's regretting asking you to taste this more.
Mm-hmm.
It's a baguette. It's a whole grain,
Good.
whole wheat baguette. Oh, it's good? It's even good. Becky, what do you think?
Becky, if he hasn't made it for you before, have him make it for you.
I have made it for her.
Oh, well, then now you know how good it is.
Okay. You like it?
Oh, it's good.
What do you like about
What's
it?
the difference between this one and this one?
That one just has some everything spice on top of it, just
okay.
to make it look cute and to see how it tastes.
No, it's got a good crunch to it.
It's got a crumb. Yeah, the crumb is good.
Mm-hmm.
Moist, but not like wet.
It passes. I'm the bread guy. It passes.
It passes. Okay. Well, that's a glowing review. I hope you're really excited to eat this now. Got it. Throw some butter on it. I literally just yoinked them because JD is not feeling too well. She sometimes gets a little like run down when we travel too much. She has this condition that makes it not awesome to be traveling in cars or planes for too long. Anyway, that's a story for a different day. Let me give it a taste test. I bought some Earth Balance on here. Dense. The crumb is present, but not too thick. I like that it's got kind of holes in it. It's great. And yeah, it tastes really good. I'm really excited to have this. I'll probably make some curry or something or soup so I can dip it in there. It works really good as just bread. One thing I'd recommend too is, this thing only lasts for like a day or two before you got to turn them either into croutons or French toast. If you're looking for something to do with your leftover bread, I do have a French toast video. This works really well with it. I probably linked it, and I'll link it below as well. But yeah, that's it. We made some bread, and now it's time to eat. Hey, thank you so much for watching this video. If you made it this far, that's amazing. You did a great job. I'm really proud of you. I hope you like this video. If you do, maybe tell YouTube so that other people can see it. If you like content like this, you never want to miss another video, go ahead and subscribe and maybe hit that bell. Thank you so much for your time and attention. It really means a lot to me. You could be doing anything for the past 10 minutes and you chose to be here, so thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'll see you in the next video. I probably got a couple popping up right now. Have a good rest of your day and go do something you could be proud of.